If you're watching this video, the chances are you're looking for a new theme builder or page builder for your WordPress website. And in this video today, I'm going to cover 5 of the most popular ones on the market right now, share my thoughts and opinions after using them, and by the end of this video, you will ultimately know why I chose to rebuild my website using Cwicly. Only 2 of the products on the market have a specific feature that I would not build a website without. And as you'll see in today's video, it really came down to only Bricks Builder and Cwicly, because they're the only builders that had this feature. So to keep this video simple and easier for me to explain, let's refer to page builders and theme builders as products in this video. So 5 products that I tried and that I'm going to go through in this video are as follows: Bricks Builder, GeneratePress including Generate Blocks, Cadence WP, GreenShift, and Cwicly, which is ultimately the one that I recommend you go and try after watching this video. So before I go ahead and explain this one feature that I was looking for in a product that is a non-negotiable, I acknowledge that you've probably just searched Google and landed on this page and you have no idea who I am, and I really had a big vested interest in staying with Bricks Builder. And I just wanted to explain this so that you don't feel like I'm pushing a product just for an affiliate program, because I went heavily all in with Bricks Builder and they don't have an affiliate product. So in terms of Bricks Builder, on my website under articles, I've been writing blog posts for probably over a year now, like in-depth, long blog posts. I've also done a review on Bricks Builder, which was like 8 or 10,000 words that I maintained over the last year and I made sure was up to date. And then on my YouTube channel, I've been putting in a lot of effort to make Bricks Builder specific videos, again, for the last year, where I only focused on how to use Bricks Builder to build a website. And I just want to show that because, again, I'm not doing this to promote a product that has an affiliate program, because Cwicly does have an affiliate program. I specifically just wanted to find the best page builder on the market right now, the best theme builder on the market, and Cwicly was really it at the end of the day. So what was this one feature that I had to have in the next product that I chose to build my WordPress websites? And what is this feature that you probably want to have in the one that you choose for your next website? So that feature is being able to use a class-based global styling system to style your elements across all the different pages on your website. There's really only a handful that are using class-based global styling, and they're Bricks Builder and they're Cwicly. Now, after this next section, I'm going to go through some of the decisions that led me down to finalizing my decision to leaving Bricks Builder and ultimately swapping over to Cwicly. So why comparing them, I went with Cwicly. But what I want to do now is show you how you would go and build your website using a class-based global styling system in Cwicly, so that you can imagine how you would build your website once you purchase Cwicly and jump in and try and use it yourself. So here I am on my homepage. Let's go ahead and recreate this here by using all the CSS classes. So we're going to set up all the CSS classes from scratch, add our styling, and ultimately we're going to end up with this page here. So here I'll go to New and then Page, and then here I will add a section, and then inside this section we will go ahead and add some columns. And we'll add 3 columns in here. And then inside here, we will insert a heading that says, "Hi, I'm Grant." Then we'll add some text and we'll add a button that says, "Read more." Then we'll open up Cwicly, and then on the block inspector, I will make this a H3. So now we have our content inside of this column. Now we need to add our styling. And to do that, because Cwicly is a class-based global styling system, we can create our styles using CSS classes. So to do that, let's start with a column. So here I'll click the plus sign, and this shows us our global CSS class manager in Cwicly. And let's go ahead and create some new ones. So I'll call this my box and press enter. And then on this heading here, I will go up here and go my box __ heading. And then on the paragraph, I will add that, and I'll do my box __ text. And then on the button, we'll go and add a my button CSS class. Let's click on the column, and then with our class selected, let's add some styling to this CSS class. So I'll go design, under background, click here, and apply our sand color. Then I'll go to layout, and we'll make this flex box, column, flex start. Then let's go ahead and add some row gap. So I'll add my size small variable in there, custom property. If you don't know what they are, you can come in here and add 1 rem. You can add any unit here, but I do have these properties set up. Back on our column, on our my box class, let's add some padding here. So I'll add my large padding around, and then here under design and then borders, let's add a radius. So now we have the rounded corners. Back on the parent column, let's go to the layout and let's add some column gap here. And I might do my medium. So now we have the gap running down here, and we'll also do it on the row for responsive. Now let's click back here, and then let's click to edit the CSS class, my button, and then we'll go to background and then the color. I'm going to apply one of my gradients, so I'll click there, and then under margin and padding, let's add some here. So medium's a bit too big. I might just reduce that on the top to extra small there and extra small there. And let's round these corners, and we'll do our medium there. So now that class is all styled. So I'm pretty happy with the styling of this box here and all the inner elements. Let's go ahead and clone it into the other columns, because again, we're recreating this over here. So I'll get this column here and copy that and then paste it there and then paste that there. But we actually have one long column going down here and then one there, one there, one there, one there. We can use a really cool feature inside of Cwicly that I wanted to show you in this video called their grid editor. So I'm actually going to go ahead and click on the parent column element, and then under the primary tab, we can click on this icon to open up the grid editor. And here we can do some really cool things. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different blocks, and we've got 3 here. So I'm going to click this once and then again, and now we have the 5 like this. Now using the grid editor, we can drag these wherever we want. So I'll put that over there, that over there, and then this one I'm going to pull down like that. And this layout here looks like this layout there. And then if we go to mobile and open up the grid editor, for this, I'm going to move that over there. One is going to stretch there, and then I'll move this there. And if I pull this in, you can see that when we get down to here, that's exactly what I have on my live website. Then as we get to the full mobile, we'll just have them collapse on each other, which is that there. So I'll get out of that, go back to our desktop. Our grid layout is all done, but we just need to add content into these 2 columns down there. So I'll just copy that, paste that there, and paste that there. Then if I go and just zoom out a little bit so we can see what we're doing. So now we have that exact layout that we wanted on our website. And if we go save and save, so now on the front end, if we have a look and inspect, and I zoom out just a little bit, when we pull this in, we can see what happens. That's going to go to that. And then as we go through to the mobile, they collapse on top of each other. Let's go ahead and create a new page. And this might be for our services. So I might go here and add a section. And then inside this section, let's add some columns. And this could be 3 columns. And into here, let's go ahead and add a heading. And we'll make this a H3. This could be web design. I'll just scale this down so we can see a little bit easier. So web design. Then I'll add some text, and maybe above this, we want to add an image. So I'll go insert, and then we'll find the image and put that right up the top first. Then here we will select an image, and I'll just select this one as an example and insert. Then if we want to apply our classes, we can click on the column, click the plus sign, search for my box. There it is. And we can hover, and that will apply it to preview it for us. So let's go ahead and apply that. That's looking pretty good. Then I might just copy this and paste that there and paste that there. This could be logo design, and this could be marketing. Then on the parent, let's go to design, and then under layout, let's add some spacing. So I add my medium spacing. So if we publish this, so that's looking pretty good. So this is where the power of CSS classes comes into play for global styling. Let's say later on down the track, we need to adjust this sand color to another color. How do we go and do that? All we need to do to make that change in a product that uses a class-based global styling system is edit the class. So we could edit the class on our home page where we created the class, or we could even edit it on the services page where we reused the class. So I could click here onto our column, and then I could click to edit the MyBox class, and then under background, I could update the color here, make it this green color, and then click update, update. And now we've updated the background for this CSS class and wherever that's applied. So on our services page, if we reload, that's updated. And on our home page, that's updated as well. So edit in one place and updates anywhere across our website we've used that CSS class. So now let's say that whenever we have this box design here, If there's an image at the top of the box and then it goes a heading, we want to increase the spacing between these two elements. Let me show you how you do that inside of Cwicly, and then later on we're going to try and recreate that using GeneratePress and GenerateBlocks and their way of doing things. And I think in doing so, you will agree with me that it's a lot easier to manage using the Cwicly based approach. But definitely stick around for when we do that later on in GeneratePress and GenerateBlocks. We'll come back into the editor, and if we click on our column, we have our MyBox class. And if we click on the heading, we can see that these are H3s. So all we need to do to increase the spacing between the image and the H3 is click on our column, then edit our MyBox CSS class, and then under Advanced and then Custom CSS, we can get the global class selector, put that in there, and then we'll target the elements in there. And then whenever there's an image plus H3, so whenever there's a H3 that follows an image, we will add margin top to the H3. So here we'll go margin top, and you could do 1 rem, but I'm going to use my custom variables here, which is a size large. So I'll go update and update. Back here, if I reload, the space between these should increase. So I'll reload, and you can see we have the increased spacing here. Just as a side note, this should be updating live here. I think there might be a bug with the current version of Cwicly. This was working in the last release. Now, let's say in the future, we decide that this is too much space and we want to reduce it from our large space to our small space. We come back into Cwicly, click over to here, edit our MyBox class, under Advanced, Custom CSS, we adjust it here from our large, and let's say we want to change it to our small size. I'll update and save. Back here, if I reload, this space will get smaller here. So reload, and now that's tighter. Now, the main thing that I want to point out with what we managed to achieve here inside of Cwicly using the class-based approach is that we were able to customize our website exactly how we wanted and set up these exception rules here with custom CSS, all while staying inside of the Cwicly builder. And this is important because a lot of the products out there on the market have their own proprietary ways of applying global styles. And they work okay, but they might get you 70% of the way that you want your website to look. And then to customize your website and do those small exceptions, the last 30%, you need to go and open up a separate CSS file and write code in there. This is why using a class-based approach like this is going to be way better. All your code is in one place. But we will touch on this more as we progress through today's video. In software development, there's something called don't repeat yourself. And it's a principle of software development aimed at reducing repetition of information which is likely to change. Which, if you think about styling elements, that is repeating yourself on something that is likely to change. You might want to change the background color. You might want to make the rounded borders a little bit less rounded. All these different things across your website. You don't want to have to edit this one here and then edit this one and then edit this one and then edit this one and then edit this one, and now they all look the same. You're repeating yourself. The less you repeat yourself, the better the global styling system is that you're using. So at this stage in the video, you know why I didn't end up going with GeneratePress and GenerateBlocks and also GreenShift and also Cadence WP. It's because they don't allow you to design globally using CSS classes. And so no matter their other good features, they got ruled out. Now, let me go through some of the features that I did like in each of them and the pros and cons just quickly, because I do want to give you some insight into what I found by going and testing all these. Because I actually completely rebuilt my website using GeneratePress and GenerateBlocks in between Bricks Builder and Cwicly. That was in the middle there. And Cadence WP, I gave it a good go. And also GreenShift, I bought that as well, and I decided to refund that. So I do have a little bit of insight that I think it's worth knowing. So here inside of GeneratePress and GenerateBlocks, what I liked about how they approach building their sort of stuff is if we go to a page and I go up to here, it is only built using this amount of blocks. This, I can do everything using these 9 blocks. That really enticed me, and I really wanted to make it work. That's why I tried to force it to work for my business, and I rebuilt my entire website trying to work within the constraints of the Generate ecosystem. But it was just way too limiting. So let me show you some of the things that I didn't like about it and why I decided to swap away from it. And it's all centered around how they handle not using CSS classes for global styling, and alternatively, they use what they call global styles. Let's say here I'm designing my homepage. Let's say homepage up here, and then in here I add a container, and I'll just open up the panel here. And then inside this container, let's go ahead and add another container. And then in here, let's add a heading. So say my heading, and then we'll add a paragraph, and then let's add a button like that. So if we open this up, we have our container with the container there, and then the content inside this container. The limitation comes in how you style everything. So let's go ahead and recreate this yellow box. So to do that, I could click on this container here and then open this up. And then I could go down to colors and then set the background color to be my sand color. And then under spacing, we could set 2 rems of padding all the way around. And then for the border radius, we could also set 2 rems around there. And then here we could just duplicate this and then duplicate it again. So now we have 3 of them. Then back on the parent, we could go to layout and then display flex. So sat next to each other on a row. And then down here, column gap, we could add 1 rem and then the row gap 1 rem. So now we've got 3 boxes on our page and that all looks good. But let's say we come back and we want to change the background color from the sand color to a very light green color. What's that process look like? Well, we could click on this container here and then go back into the colors and change the background color to the green there. And then we could click on this one and then change this background color to green and so on, because we're adding the colors, the styling locally to each element. That's why they're not updating in every place that we have created those cards. So how do we go and be able to change the background color of just this card, but it changes all the other cards? That's using what GeneratePress calls global styles. So if I get out of this and out of this, in this homepage, we went ahead and created these cards, but now we need to convert them to global styles. So what we have to do is go down here to generate blocks and go to global styles and then click add new and then come back here and then just copy one of these. So I'll just go here and go copy block. Then back in our global styles, I'll call this my box and then we paste that in there. And then if we open this up and click on the container and then we open this up, now we can give our global style a name for this container. So I'll call this my box. And now back on our home page, we need to apply that global style to that container. So we click on this container and then up here, we need to go use global style and then choose my box and then clear local styles. Okay. And then we do that for each of them. So click over to here and then use global style, my box, clear local styles. Okay. And then this one, use that and then my box, clear local styles. Okay. So now we have our 3 boxes there using the global style. So now let's just say we're in here editing our homepage and we go, you know what, I want to change the color of this sand color to that green color. So each of these containers has the global style my box. So we can't actually change the colors in the page that we're editing. We need to go back into the global style. So go to generate blocks and then global styles and then edit the global style. And now we're in here. And now when we select here for the mine box, we can go down to colors and we change the background color to that green and update that. And now if we reload our homepage, they update because we changed the global style. So at this point, we can say that, look, it's not ideal that when we're building a page, we have to jump from the page that we're editing into create the global styles and then come back to the page and apply the global styles here to get the layout that we want. It's a little bit disjointed, whereas Cwicly, we can come in and create CSS classes on the page that we're designing, customize those CSS classes right here within that same page. There's no jumping in backwards and forwards between a different section inside our WordPress admin area. But let's just say inside this card, we need to add an image. So let's go ahead and add an image like this. And then I'll choose one from my media library. And I'll just choose my logo and add that in there. And I'll drag that to the top. And then let's put this image into each of the boxes. So I'll just copy that and put it in there. Drag it in first place. And then in here as well. And we'll drag that up. So now let's go ahead and update this. And on the front end, have a look what that looks like. Okay, that's looking pretty good. But you know what? I want to add some spacing between these 2 items here. So back here, we could do it on the heading, margin top, or on the image, margin bottom. So with this heading selected, we could go up to here, and then we could do it locally. So on this particular heading, we could add a margin top of 1 rem. And now we've got the spacing down here. But then we have to do that over here as well. We need to add it here and then do it for the third one as well. But we don't want to repeat ourselves. Remember, don't repeat yourself. If we're repeating ourselves a lot, it means that the system that we're using is broken or not optimized. So this is where I found the global styles inside of GeneratePress to fall short compared to being able to use CSS classes. Of course, in Cwicly, this heading, we could just add a CSS class to it and then add a margin top there. And then we could just edit that CSS class and that would just update across our website. But you don't have that option here inside of GeneratePress. So let me show you how you would actually go and allow this system to work, where you could have some spacing here between the image and the heading, but you could edit in one place and have it update across your entire website. So what we need to do is add some margin bottom to the image so that if there's an image, it pushes the heading down, but if there's no image, then there's no spacing above the heading. So let's go ahead and implement that. On our container, we know this is using the My Box global style. So if we go down to Generate Blocks and Global Styles, and then into My Box, and we click on our container here that has our My Box style set, this My Box label is just an alias for an underlying CSS class that gets applied. So here, GB-container- and then this unique identifier that ends in 6.1. If I go to the front end of our website where we have our 3 boxes, you can see that we have 3 divs here, and they all have that same class ending in 6.1. GB-container- ending in 6.1. 1, 2, and 3. So what we can do is we can use this CSS class here and then target the image inside there, which is a figure, and then add some margin at the bottom of it to push it away from the heading. But this is the problem with GeneratePress and Generate Blocks. We can't actually do that here inside of the builder. We need to leave the builder, open up a CSS file, and start writing custom CSS. So here we'll go to Appearance and then Theme File Editor. And then inside here, I'll do .gb-container-6.1. And then we'll target the figure inside there. And then we'll add a margin bottom of 1 rem. And we'll click Update File. So now if we go back and reload, this should be pushed away. So I'll reload, and now we have the spacing there. Can you see how this is not a great system to do this compared to just having CSS classes be used for every single thing and being able to write the code, the CSS code for the CSS classes inside of the builder like we can quickly. Go and watch GeneratePress videos on YouTube, and as you watch these videos, take on board how much custom CSS people building GeneratePress websites make outside of GeneratePress. They'll usually have the customizer open, or they'll have a CSS file open, and they design their pages using global styles, and then they jump into the code editor and they write custom CSS there while applying some CSS classes. It just, to me, is a little bit clunky, and it's unnecessary if you use a class-based system like you get access to in Cwicly. So that's what I liked and didn't like about GeneratePress and the ecosystem there, and why ultimately I decided to go with Cwicly over this one. Now, the next one that I want to touch on is Cadence. Now, I don't have access to Cadence anymore, but they don't have a global styling system. If you go and watch videos on YouTube, you'll notice that when somebody wants to take a style, so say this card style here, and apply it to this card over here, they have to copy the styling. So I think maybe GeneratePress, here. So if we go here, we can go copy styles. So if we go back onto this container, and let's say I didn't use the global CSS class here on this container, and I gave this a background color, and we could make it this yellow color. So what I could do is I could copy the styles from here, copy styles, then go to this one, and then go up to here, and then paste styles. And I'll just turn off the global styling, so now they're the same. And over here, if I turn that off, and then if I went over to this one, and then pasted the styles like that. That copy and paste styling system is what Cadence uses. And to maintain an entire website by copying and pasting across all the different pages on your website, I just couldn't imagine myself maintaining a website like that. Knowing there's a class-based system out there with Cwicly, I just wasn't going to go ahead with that option. I think the reason that Cadence is so popular is it does have a lot of elements out the box. It has some really good WooCommerce integrations and features. It also is good for somebody that doesn't want to learn code. If you can just use an interface to design this like this and come up here and copy that and paste it over there, for somebody that doesn't really want to know code, it's a pretty easy solution. But as somebody who I'm hoping you are, that is willing to learn a little bit about code if you don't already know, or maybe you know a lot about code and you just want to know how this all works, to be able to just understand how CSS classes work is going to save you so much headache when you're maintaining your website. Now, the next builder that we're going to look at is GreenShift, and GreenShift ticked a lot of the boxes that Cwicly ticked. So for example, GreenShift is based on the block editor. So anything that I do inside of GreenShift, I would have access to in all my custom post types and when I'm writing my blog posts. So that overcame the disconnect that I was experiencing between Bricks Builder and the block editor. GreenShift also has a lot of really cool blocks that I was really looking forward to using, especially in terms of affiliate marketing blocks. So if we go to the block gallery, so if we have a look at the SEO add-on, and we open up this, so the offer box, comparison builder, the score box, review box, and compact listing, and WooCommerce box. So these are Gutenberg blocks that you can drag into your page, and they come like this. So they're really nicely styled. Drag the block in, edit the settings in the panel on the right hand side, and you got a really nice clean layout. The score box where I can just drop that into a review post. All of this, I was so excited to try GreenShift, but the way that they handle global styling just does not make sense. So here I'm going to show you how GreenShift handles global styling and why it just does not make sense in my personal opinion, but maybe you'll agree with me. So let's recreate the box that we've been creating through today's video. So to do that, I'll open this up and let's go ahead and add a CSS grid of containers. And then we have the 3 going across there. And then in here, we'll add our heading. So advanced heading, and I'll say my heading. And then after that, we'll add a paragraph. Now, this is another thing. When you press enter, it doesn't go to the paragraph block, which is what you're used to when you're using the block editor. It just seems to line break my heading. If I hold Command Shift Enter, I don't think I can actually go and just create a paragraph by pressing enter. So I think you actually need to go here and add a paragraph. And I think they have their own paragraph block if we search for it. Advanced text, I think that's it there. So we could start typing in here, and if I press enter, so we're not getting paragraphs there. So see, it's a little bit like it just isn't intuitive. Like if I press enter, all block-based editors that I've used create a paragraph block, but this is just creating a line break. We're finding these things out as we go, but let's go ahead and just insert a regular paragraph block. We'll add text there, this heading, let's go ahead and remove it. So I'll open this back up. So we have our container wrapper, which was a grid, and then in there's 3 columns, and then inside here, advanced heading and paragraph. So the last thing that we need to do is add a button here. So let's go button, and let's add the button element, which is this one here. And I'll just say, click me. So now let's go ahead and make this into a box. So let's click back on the container wrapper. Then let's open up our settings panel, and you can see general, we can set what tag we want this element to be. We could change the text color and all that sort of stuff. But again, we want to be able to define global stylings where we can edit in one place and it updates in multiple places across our website. So we don't want to add anything here locally to this heading element. So let's quickly go ahead and style this first. So I will go and find the background and then the background color. Let's set it to the sand color. And then let's find the padding, spacing. So padding, we'll do 1 rem around. And now we need to round the corners. So let's go to border and then to radius, and we'll do rem, and let's do 2 rems around. Now, I'm not sure if you can't add custom properties here or CSS variables, and that might affect your decision, because if you really rely on being able to set custom properties, then this is obviously going to be a deal breaker for you. Okay, so let's just say we're happy with our container looking like this. To save this as a reusable style, we go up to here and we go add global reusable style, set the current style as reusable, and I'll call this my box and press add. So now if we copy these blocks from here, so copy blocks, and we paste them into there, and then into there. So now that we've saved our style, let's go and apply this style for this container to the other ones. So I'll click over to here, and then I'll click on the paintbrush. And then another thing while we're here that is hard to get used to is add, edit global styles, assign, remove global styles. And they both start with A. So if you're trying to build websites really fast, you definitely have to stop and go, wait, which one of these am I clicking on? It doesn't seem like much, but it is hard to get used to. And as well, there's a lot of words there: assign, remove, add, edit, container wrapper. I feel like it could be simplified a little bit better. Hopefully it gets refined over time. But it's these little quirks that really do affect your workflow. But here we're trying to assign a global reusable style because we've already created it. So I'll go assign, my box, set, that's done. Then I'll click on this one. We'll go up here, assign, my box, set, done. Okay, so we've got this far. Let's go ahead and update that. So maybe we think that the padding here needs to be larger. How do we go and do that? So let's click on this one here, and there's my box. And if we click into here, we can add or edit the global reusable style or assign or remove. Okay, well, maybe we want to edit. Okay, so we'll go edit. And then my box is here and it's selected there. So let's open up the panel and go through and try and find the spacing. And the padding's not set there. So how do we edit the padding on this my box global style and just increase it from 1 rem to 2 rem? I don't actually think you can do that. You can overwrite it, but you can't actually edit what's already there and just adjust it. It's really weird. And this is where I was like, okay, this is just definitely not usable right now. So I think the way that you need to do it is click on this and then click replace. No, okay, so that's removed. So see, it's very confusing, but I'll show you what you actually have to do. So what you need to do is create your customizations in the panel here and then click replace. And then it takes them and overwrites what's already there. So I accidentally just reset everything because I had no settings here. So let's go and redo it. So with my box selected, we'll go back into the spacing and we're going to do rem all the way around. And let's do 1 rem. And let's set the background color to sand. And then also we want to do a border radius. So rem, and we'll do say 1.5 rem around. And then again, to get to that screen, we click up here. Then we go add edit. And then we want to do my box, and then here, or replace. So we want to replace my box with the current settings that we just did. So we click replace. And then because these two had that assigned to them, they've been updated. So now it's looking good. So now, how do we go and increase the padding for that reusable style? So we need to click back here. And then over here, remember, if we go to something like spacing, it doesn't show there. So literally, as far as I can tell, and I'm pretty sure this is right, to just take this box with the rounded corners, the sand background, and the padding, to just increase the padding a little bit, we need to go and set all the attributes again, and then replace the style. So here, this was 1 rem. We need to set this to 2 rem all the way around. But again, the only thing that we have set in our panel over here is that 2 rem. So if I click replace, it's going to remove the background color, remove the rounded borders, and the only thing that's going to be there is this padding. So we need to go back to the border and I need to set the radius. And this is even more cumbersome. I need to remember what the radius was. So I think it was like 2 rem, maybe. And then I need to go up to the background color, which is here. And then I need to set the sand color again. And I've done all of that just to take the exact styling and change the padding values. But now that we've got that all set, let's click replace. And now that updates the other ones. But then in the future, if we want to adjust the padding again, we need to click into here, edit the global reusable class. We want to edit my box, and then we need to go through and change it all over again. We need to go and change the rounded borders. We need to change the background color. And then we can finally increase the padding. It doesn't make sense. And so at this point in time, I don't think GreenShift is a viable option. Be very interesting to see what happens when they swap over to a class-based system. But to be honest, I'm really happy with Cwicly and the stuff that's coming out in Cwicly soon, like their components feature, which might even be released now. It's going to be released in the next week as of the time of recording this. That is going to completely change how you build websites. And components inside of Cwicly, they're the only builder that has components, so definitely look out for that. So after testing all the different products on the market, I knew I needed to use a class-based styling system, and that really only left 2 options, Bricks Builder and Cwicly. So now let's look at why I chose to leave Bricks Builder and swap over to Cwicly if they both use a class-based styling system. Here on my website in Cwicly, if I was to go and create a new page, so I go new page, and I add my section, and then inside here, I add some columns. Maybe I add 2 columns in here, and then I insert a heading element in here. And then on this column, I want to apply my box class like that. That's cool. You know, I have access to everything here. If I want to go ahead and add a button, I can add my button. And to apply styling, I can come up to here, add my button class, and there it is there. So all the CSS classes I create in Cwicly to style my elements, I have access to in my pages. But if I save this and then I go to posts and I start writing a blog post, and the title of this blog post might be Cwicly Review, and then here I do an intro, so I'm just writing some text, and then I add a H2. This is my the benefits, and I keep writing. And then here, maybe I want to have a notice, an inline notice that has the same styling with my button class. So here, all I need to do is go and add a div. I can add my div, and then on this div, I can come up to here and add my box class, which is this one here. And then inside here, I could add a heading. I could make this heading a H4, and I could write important fact and write some text. So when I'm writing my blog post, I also have access to my global CSS classes inside of Cwicly. But if I go to my girlfriend's website that was built using Bricks Builder and I go edit with bricks, this is what Bricks Builder looks like. So it has CSS classes for styling. So if I click on here, This is the section, and this has Hero V1 as a CSS class. If I click to edit this class and go to style, you can see a background is set on this class, and it has some padding up the top. So it is a class-based CSS styling system, but the problem is that whatever I do in Bricks Builder here, I don't have access to in the block editor. So if I go to my girlfriend's website and we add a new blog post, I don't have access to any CSS classes or any styling that I set in Bricks Builder in the block editor. So I'm using two different editors here. And this is a problem for me as somebody that writes a lot of long form articles and tutorials in my website where I am using the block editor a lot. Not having access to things that I create in Bricks Builder here in the block editor, it's not ideal. It could be as simple as having a button here in Bricks Builder that has styling, but then here if I add a button here inside of the block editor, it doesn't take on that styling, or I need to make this styling match the other styling. That's a very simple example, but it goes way further than that. Like just not having access to things and just using two different builders when I am using the block builder for my blog post and long form content as a non-negotiable. It just was too much of a disconnect for me and the types of websites I'm building. And so that's why I ultimately left Bricks Builder and future-proofed myself and moved to Cwicly. Another example of where the disconnect between Bricks Builder and the block editor in my blog post really started to become a problem for me is that I had some custom Gutenberg blocks or custom blocks created using advanced custom fields. So if I go into my blog and we have a look on page 2 at my Bricks Builder review and we click into it and I go edit post, I have these custom blocks here that I've created to help me write content and do things without repeating myself all the time. So if I'm ever talking about a product and I want to link out to it, I just come here and I go here, CTA, and there's my custom block, CTA product. I click, then in here I select, and then I choose some options for it. So what's the product that I'm promoting? I'm talking about FunnelKit, and I want to link to the review on my website, or do I want to link to their website? So I'll link to their website. And if we view that on the front end and go down and see what they look like, that's what that one looks like there for Bricks Builder, and FunnelKit would look the same. But I have these custom blocks that I've created to help me write my content and just make it a bit more interesting. Other ones that I have in here are my pros and cons block, so pros and cons. And then if we edit this, I can write a bit of an intro, and then I can add a pro. So one pro there. I can add a con, and then if I update this, we go back and reload, you can see my blocks are being output there. Now, the good thing about using Cwicly, where I'm using the block editor for everything, is that I can access my custom ACF blocks on my blog posts, but then any other post type, and even in my pages. I could go to my home page and edit it here. And if I wanted to, at the bottom here, I could add like a product of the month. So I could go add a section and add that in, drag it up here. Then I could insert a heading, product of the month. And then under that, I could add my custom block. So there's a product block, there's that. And I'm just going to change this to, let's do FunnelKit automations. And I'm going to link to the review on my website. So save and save, reload my homepage, go down, and there that is there. But with Bricks Builder, if I was building my homepage using Bricks Builder, I can't output my custom blocks that I've made for my blog post. So it's just really hard to use two different builders, I found, when you're managing a website. And again, if you can do everything in Bricks Builder in Cwicly, which is based on the block editor, you have access to everything across any post type in your website. It just makes a lot more sense, and I think you're future-proofing yourself. Now, below this video is going to be some more information about how to get Cwicly. So I hope this video was helpful. Again, check the content under this video.